Welcome to EP Daily. E3 is upon us, but we're already looking ahead to Comic-Con in the rundown.
Plus, the new games for E3 2015 keep coming with the new Need for Speed.
Yo, guys, some big names in town. Let's get out there and get noticed.
And then we have a closer look at the latest expansion for Star Wars: The Old Republic. Also coming up, we take a look back at the original Knights of the Old Republic. We have a review of the new science fiction series Killjoys, and much more today on EP Daily. Brought to you by EB Games. I'm your host, Victor Lucas, bringing you the latest in everything cool every single day. I've never outrun an Imperial starship, but I have outrun the rundown. Does that even make sense? I don't know. Let's punch it. E3 is happening right now, but the next big entertainment event is going to be even more forceful. Star Wars: The Force Awakens will be at the San Diego Comic-Con this year. A panel on the film will take place on Friday, July 10th, so don't be surprised if new footage is released at the same time. Expect to find out new details about all of the other new Star Wars adventures as well, including the animated series Rebels and the first spin-off, Rogue One. If you're not going to be at the San Diego Comic-Con, we'll be there getting you all the goods. Star Wars: The Force Awakens soars into theaters this December. The Ghostbusters have found themselves a new secretary who isn't afraid to bring the hammer down. Thor star Chris Hemsworth has been cast in the reboot of the Ghostbusting comedy franchise. Don't expect him to be wearing a proton pack, though. He'll play the receptionist at Ghostbusters HQ, the role memorably played by Annie Potts in the original films. All four of the Ghostbusters will be played by women this time around, and casting a big action star as a male secretary seems to fit with the new direction that the film is taking with regard to gender roles. The new Ghostbusters will haunt theaters next year. Sony is also working on an all-male Ghostbusters movie, which will follow in 2017.
We got one!
The force is strong with Comic-Con and with this one. Hello, Marissa Roberto.
You felt it, did ya?
Yeah, I did. Are you excited to see a little bit more of The Force Awakens at Comic-Con?
Of course. Are you kidding me? No, anything to do with this, I get chills. I love it. I just don't know how many more teasers we can have until it's time.
Yeah, we don't want the magic to kind of peter out, right?
We don't.
The mystery of this is
honestly,
good.
It hasn't yet for me. I've watched this trailer a lot, and it still gives me the chills.
At every movie screening we go to every week, it's playing right now. Yeah, I know. I get
So I don't want the
emotional.
magic. I don't want all that emotion to be taken away from me for sure with, following up with
One thing I definitely want to see,
What?
Harrison Ford at Comic-Con, healthy, strong, ready to tell us that he's going to be putting on a fedora soon. Yeah, it sucks to kind of have some of this stuff spoiled, but I'm okay. I'm glad that it's going to be there.
They've been pretty good with not spoiling too much, really. They've been great with it.
They know what they're doing.
They sure do.
Now, Ghostbusters has been a bit of a controversial reboot because of the female cast members that are going to be headlining this thing.
A lot of people are really annoyed with it.
They're ridiculous, though.
I know, really annoyed with it. I am not annoyed with it, obviously. I am excited to see all women at the helm here, but again, just seeing it all on paper, I'm a little concerned, especially because they seem to be flipping it completely and I suppose making fun of it.
You know, and they're looking at sales data, and they're looking at female-driven comedies and movies are doing good numbers. And
I don't want the script to be flipped completely where now men are going to be objectified because women were objectified before. So like we're having Chris Hemsworth as the receptionist. Like, are they going to objectify him? I don't want that to happen. I want everything to be equal. I don't want one gender to be above another. I don't want any of that.
Hemsworth has got great comedic chops. He shows in every role, every time he steps into the screen. He's so charming. He's great as Thor. He really plays it up.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? That guy's amazing.
He's really amazing, and I think this gives him a really cool opportunity to shine in a different way.
For sure. You know what? I think it's going to be really funny. I think it's going to be smart.
And look at the talent that's associated with this movie. These are not, just upstarts. These are really solid entertainers that know how to build something really fun. And Paul Feig is a fantastic director.
I think we're going to have fun when we sit down in the theaters to watch this. I really do.
It's hard not to be skeptical, though. Hollywood makes us skeptical. But right now, we've got to take a look at another reboot in the game space. I do have the need.
For speed?
Yes, let's take a look.
Yo, guys, some big names in town. Let's get out there and get noticed.
Tell us why you're looking at Need for Speed as coming back. What's new? What's different? What's exciting about the franchise this year?
calling it a reboot and a return is resting upon that we didn't ship a game last year, obviously. It was the first year in about 20 years that we didn't ship a Need for Speed game. And the reason for that was pretty simple. I felt, as Ghost took over the Need for Speed franchise, that we needed to sit back, think about what we wanted Need for Speed to be. Because if you think about the last years of Need for Speed, it's been Need for Speed Shift, going around tracks, it's been Most Wanted, it's been The Run, and narrative driven. I just wanted to sit down, talk to our fans during these last 18 months about what game should we be making. Looking back into the different experiences that we've seen, and together with the passion that we have built up, talking to the fans that are passionate about Need for Speed, we created this package of this Need for Speed game that's coming out this fall. And yes, we released a teaser. The response of that has been absolutely fantastic. It's blown my mind.
You have 5 key pillars in the game, or 5 ways to play, you're coining it.
Yeah.
Take us through those.
Yeah, 5 ways to play is really a concept of thinking about what is the ultimate Need for Speed experience. As we talk about that in the office, we're like, yeah, it's going 150 miles per hour, sideways, into a corner with style, driving with your friends, chased by the cops in a highly modified car. So if you think about those 5 different elements put together, we have structured a narrative on those 5 different elements.
Made it! Awesome!
Those all run in parallel, 5 different story threads in the game, and each is led by a real-world icon, someone who exists in reality, who has that playstyle as his job or hobby or whatever. He's a celebrity around that. We'll obviously reveal those later on, but the key here is you get 5 different stories that you can play through. You can play through them in any order, you can start them in any order, and ultimately, as you play through it, you'll become the ultimate icon in the game.
Why do you think the Need for Speed brand and the franchise has endured? Why do you think it means so much to so many gamers?
Many people have fond memories of this franchise. It started on the very first platforms, on the PS2, the Underground games. But I also think it's such an established brand, right? It's cars that you can modify. It's going to be about open world. It's going to be about high-paced action, edge-of-the-seat driving, and it's going to be about hanging out with your friends in that world. It's such a global known brand. And we can see that when we come up with this announced trailer for the reboot of Need for Speed, it just takes us to numbers of views and stuff that, you know, we haven't even been close to that in the last 5 years of Need for Speed, because we haven't had that edge of what we're delivering. And that's the value of understanding who you are as a brand and then build an experience on it.
How you drive, it's up to you.
Nicely done there, Vilu. Can't wait for the new Need for Speed. But, you know, like everyone else, I'm gonna have to wait.
We are gonna have to wait. Stick around. When we come back, we're taking a look at the latest expansion for Star Wars: The Old Republic. Don't go away.
That one. Welcome back to EP Daily. The Star Wars Empire is about to grow a little bit bigger this December.
That's right, but if you cannot wait until December, and it's like a really, really long time from now, you might want to check out the Star Wars MMO, The Old Republic, which is getting a little bigger long before that.
So here's Vic now to tell us all about the Fallen Empire expansion.
I've got Bruce McLean and Jeff Hickman. They're both from BioWare Austin, and they have been working on Knights of the Fallen Empire, the new expansion that's coming for the Old Republic. And you guys have been working on the Old Republic for how long now?
9 years.
Both of you.
Well, I've been on it for 6. The game's been in production for 9 and live for 3.5.
Amazing.
It's a heck of a run.
It is a heck of a run. Does it feel as exciting and as fresh as the day you signed up?
Absolutely, because this is the year of Star Wars.
Right.
LucasArts is such a great team to work with. We've been working with this, like I said, for 9 years, and Disney's involved. It's bigger, it's better than ever, and what an opportunity that we have, any of us who are working on Star Wars games or entertainment this year. I mean, it's, as Bruce said, the year of Star Wars.
One thing that has been a big deal with the Star Wars mythology, as Disney has kind of taken over, is that they've sort of slid a lot of the canon, and a lot of the expanded universe stuff out of the way. And I guess that includes your game, right? This is all stuff that doesn't really fit right within.
The great thing about the Old Republic is that it's set thousands of years before the movie. And so we're kind of in our own BioWare space. And so it's really great. It doesn't affect us because we're not tangled up in that movie timeline at all. This expansion is a return to our roots as well. It's a return to our BioWare storytelling roots and really focusing on the role-playing game and the personal story and the companions and the choices that matter.
We've done so much in the last 3.5 years. If you look at Star Wars: The Old Republic, we launched 3.5 years ago. We've had what, four expansions numbers?
Yep.
Four expansions.
Two each year for the last 2 years.
Like an amazing amount of content that we've launched for free to our players. We took our game free to play about a year after we launched. I mean, so many things going on, and we've learned a lot from our players in that time. And so we look at what they have to say in person on the forums. We look at the way they play the game through our own data, and it's like there's one thing that's super, super clear to us. The players want more story. They want us to go back to the roots of that solo, BioWare, deep, customizable choices that matter, emotional. And that's what we're doing with Knights of the Fallen Empire.
So exactly this feels a little bit KOTOR-like, a little bit more in that direction? Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
that's exactly what's the vision in our head.
Okay.
Yeah. In fact, our game kind of has 8 KOTORs in it. It has the 8 class stories that it launched with, and those are personal stories, and we're taking this opportunity with this expansion to actually go back to our core game and evolve it and really focus on a great story experience where you're not distracted by other things. You can really focus on that storyline.
So it sounds like it could be a single-player experience then. Is that something that's open to players if they want to play it that way?
Absolutely. Yeah. Accessibility is important. With this expansion's launch, we're making sure that we're letting everybody get into the expansion right away by giving them a level 60 character, so that they can immediately join their friends, they can immediately engage in the expansion content, or because we've streamlined and evolved the core game so that going through those original 8 class stories is much faster, you can also choose to not play your level 60 and choose to play your old characters or level up a new character.
Can't wait for that one.
You know what? I am having fun, and I never have fun on this show. Let's stay right here on the Star Wars part of the show, just one beat longer.
Okay, sure, yes. I see what you're doing there, so let's run to the classic Greg Zeschuk interview.
Yes, the classic Greg Zeschuk interview. I like where your head's at, girl.
With Greg Zeschuk from BioWare, and we're going to be talking about Knights of the Old Republic, the new Star Wars game that's coming to the Xbox this year. Tell us a little bit about what this game is about.
Knights of the Old Republic is based 4,000 years before Episode 1. So it takes place in a time when there were lots of Sith running around, lots of Jedi.
Cool.
It's a lot different than I think people are familiar with from watching the movies. In the comic books, there was a time when this was, there were Sith wars and all kinds of crazy stuff going on. And so we've decided, along with LucasArts, we've set it 4,000 years in the past. The interesting thing about it, it's not like there's any decrease in technology. Things maybe aren't as shiny, aren't as new. But back then, they still had space travel and lightsabers and all the cool stuff.
None of the characters that we know are going to be in this. Is Yoda in this game? I guess he's too young for that.
It's a different set of characters. I mean, there's going to be some familiar races and some familiar planets and locations, and that's one of the cool things about it too. We can take some familiar locations and kind of predate them.
And what about the technology? I mean, the ships and stuff, are they going to look completely different from anything that we've seen, or is there going to be similarities there?
There'll definitely be similarities. I think the issue of the faster than light travel is, even though it's 4,000 years before Episode 1, faster than light travel has been going on for 25,000 years.
Wow.
So it's like, it's kind of like if you compare today to the 70s. You can see how it inspired the technology of the current Star Wars movies. I mean, that's really our goal, is you can sort of look at our stuff and go, yeah, that looks Star Wars.
Can you give us some of the details on some of the characters or some of the races that we're going to see in this
game?
I
mean, there's some really, one of the cool things, one of the favorite things I think we're doing for me is that we've got some really cool droids. They're not just little service protocol droids with, there's some guys, one of the characters he gets a pretty cool, kind of a badass droid. And so that's actually pretty cool. And of course we got Wookiees, we have Twi'leks, we have, a lot of interesting characters.
What's your interpretation of the Jedi Knights? Are they rough and tumble, or are they sort of the regal kind of Jedis that we know?
We have a whole range. I mean, one of the really exciting things for us is because Jedis, there's thousands of them. It's not just a few guys. It's like, or 20 or 50, there's thousands. And so there's all kinds of different interpretations of them. You might have a certain set which is one way, and part of the system has different almost classes of Jedi, certain types of Jedi. So it's very different. They have different sets of powers, and being a role-playing game, there's a lot of customization of your character and things that you can do. And there's always the ultimate battle with good and evil, dark and light.
Knights of the Old Republic. When's it coming out?
We're working through the end of this year.
End of this year. Awesome. Good luck with the game.
Thanks.
Can't wait to play this one.
Nice to see Greg talking again.
It sure is. He makes a TV show about beer now, but Greg, I hope you start making games again very soon.
After the break, Vic and I team up to take down a new TV series. It's coming up next.
Welcome back to EP Daily. Do you know what a Killjoy is? It's basically anything that kills joy. So, in other words, it's me. A new video game has decided to co-opt that title. So is there more to the game than its cool/depressing name? Vic and Marissa find out when they review Killjoys.
Our agents are guided by one principle, one code. What is that code?
The warrant is all.
There is a real need on television for more bounty hunters. That is exactly the premise of a show called Killjoys. This is starring Hannah John Kamen.
Yep.
You may recognize her voice from Dark Souls.
Yep.
This lady does some voice work, and I'm so happy to see her in a show like this because she kicks some serious butt.
She really does.
This show was created by Michelle Lavretta, who is the original, the OG creator of Lost Girl. So you really feel the Toronto vibe. I feel the Canadian TV vibe in this show.
But
do you get that here?
It's pretty damn action-packed, and it's got a good spark. Aaron Ashmore is another star, and Luke McFarlane is another star. The show really rests on the chemistry that these three actors, these leads, have with each other, and I think they have terrific chemistry.
They really do.
And they're having a lot of fun, and there's a spunky kind of quality to the music and the visual effects and the language. Clearly, they've been influenced by the way Joss Whedon paints a sci-fi picture out there. It's an energetic kind of quality, and it's a reaching kind of quality. I think the visual effects and the pageantry and the majesty of the universe that they're created isn't quite what we want. They don't have, and I think it's more budget related than aspiration or drive to build something kind of clever and new and fun, you know?
If you let that all slip away and you just fall into the characters themselves and their relationships, they really do hold their own here. These three actors are doing a phenomenal job and making me believe in this world they're living in, making me believe that, you know what, that guy, he really does know how to repair a ship.
Yeah.
This ship really is talking to them.
And there's a lot of butt kicking, there's a lot of fisticuffs, but also a lot of pretty cool laser effects and things like that, so they get into some pretty severe gun battles. These guys are always chasing after their bounties, which are mostly heinous people, but sometimes they surprise you. There's some nice twists and turns.
There are different levels of Killjoys, and Hannah's character is the highest level out of all of them. So she's level 5, which means that if she needs to take a kill warrant, she can take it. But the people below her, so Aaron Ashmore's character, is only a 3. He's not allowed to take on the things that she can take on. And let me tell you, this girl kicks some serious butt.
Yes, she does. It kind of got a little one note for me how much she just was the butt kicker, and I want to see some more flavor and some more sort of variance in her performance as the season goes on. There's some interesting faces, interesting people that pop up. Definitely some cool ideas for characters. There's a spirituality overtone for some of the worlds and locations that they visit in this thing. Basically, you're visiting the Quad, which is 4 different types of planets with different kinds of ecosystems and their own set of rules for how they manage themselves. And these Killjoys, the bounty hunters, they just jump in and operate on their own terms, lawlessly dealing with their own version of the law.
Oranges, in the name of the RAC, you are locked and served.
Well, damn.
Exactly, which is cool. I like that. I like that whole system.
I thought it was cool, yeah, and it's very Firefly-esque. It's definitely not as good as Firefly. I don't want to say that. I will say, though, that the Ashmore brothers, probably 2 of the most dependable brothers on television.
It's so true.
Right? They're both terrific actors, and Aaron Ashmore, I think, has to handle the bulk of the comedic sidekick kind of stuff in this thing, which he's probably hating that I'm saying that, but he does a very good job. And he's funny and he's charming and he's worked a ton, and you can just see the confidence, and he's relishing the performance, I think, and having a very good time with this character. I think it's going to be a hit. Yeah, I really like it, and I think all three of these actors are going to become much bigger stars, and especially Hannah John Kamen. I think she is a great discovery, and so is Killjoys. What are you going to give it?
I think so too. It has a lot of potential, that's for sure. It's getting a 7.
Gets an 8 for me.
Well, that was very refreshing, kids. Up next, you ask a question and we answer it. It's the Twitter question of the day after this.
If you want more EP, go to our website, epn.tv, for bonus content and full episodes. We're also on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to EP Daily. It is now time for the Twitter question of the day. This one comes from David Turner. Oh, hey, David. He's at Victor Made Me.
What's going on with you and David?
No, just he always sends tweets to you, and I feel like this one is going to be tailor-made for you.
Okay.
So let's take a look-see. Do we finally have releases worthy of the current gen consoles? Okay, yeah, see, this is totally for you. Hashtag time to buy. I know exactly what you're going to say, though.
3 little words, Batman Arkham Knight. I'll add 2 more words, Witcher, and 3 is a number. But listen, that's enough right now. There's tons of other good games coming, but those 2 games, I think, are enough to justify jumping into an Xbox One or a PlayStation 4.
Those are the Jeggers.
They're amazing, and E3 is revealing a whole bunch more. Metal Gear Solid 5. I mean, this is an incredible year for entertainment. The Star Wars Battlefront.
Okay, that's a good one.
You know, I mean, there's lots of really incredible things.
So is it hashtag time to buy?
It is time to buy, yes. Time to jump in. Do not worry, you're going to get very entertained with the games that are headed our way. And we're going to be covering all of them. You can find out more by heading to our website, epn.tv.
And more coming for you in the next episode of EP Daily, including a big game at E3 this year. It's Just Cause 3.
Thanks for watching. There's another reason. EP would like to thank its sponsors, Nintendo, Xbox. EP's mobile coverage is brought to you by Gameloft, makers of Dungeon Hunter 5, which you can play for free on iOS and Android right now.
Just Cause 2 was very famous for the fact that it had a YouTube feature, and that allowed it to be shared, and that changed Just Cause. I mean, the number of YouTube videos is astounding. It's in the millions. The top YouTube videos are something like 12 million views for them. That joy that people have in making it that experience, we wanted to make that accessible. And next gen, I mean, there's a button, you just share everything you want. So pretty excited to see how people stream this game when it comes out.